It's the time of year where teens are taking driver's ed and getting their driver's license. Our friend and parenting contributor Belinda Palacios is in with us today to talk about the independence of a car. And I know most kids think it's so cool, but for parents, it's something that we don't necessarily look forward to.
We don't. And then there's some parents that do look forward to it because they can quit being chauffeur. You know?
Yeah, all right, yeah, you can handle this. You can go to practice on your own.
But really, you know, drivers are inexperienced, and a lot of things can happen behind the wheel because those cars are not toys.
And the crash rate for a 16-year-old has to be through the roof.
It is, and it's the highest on the crash rate. You know, and one of the things you really have to is texting, and that's a no-brainer is texting. But it's just not kids that text. I mean, when you drive down I-40 or you're driving down I-27, Canyon Way, you're seeing people text all day long, regardless of age.
I-40, 65 miles an hour. I was on the part around Paramount where it kind of turns. The guy next to me, I kid you not, is both hands.
Yeah.
And he's driving on the curb with the typing of the thing. It's crazy. So let's talk about those 10 things that we're looking out for teen drivers. Obviously, number one, texting.
And then apps and cameras. And, you know, kids are taking pictures constantly. And when you're looking at your social media or you're looking at even GPS maps, you're needing to go somewhere and you're trying to plug in that address, those are huge distractions. So make sure those addresses are plugged into GPS before.
And those are things, even as adults, sometimes when we were on vacation just recently in Boulder, and we're watching the display in our Jeep and we're looking down, I mean, just a second, it's all it takes for that traffic in front of you to slow down.
It takes.
This one is a big one. I remember the transition when I was a kid where it became a law. You got to buckle up.
Right, and not buckling up is a thing that they've seen that kids really aren't doing, especially when their parents aren't around. And it's been noted that in car crashes that involve teens, kids, half of those fatalities were because kids weren't wearing a seatbelt. And so it does save lives.
Something else that helps is learning when to speak up. A lot of the accidents happen when the kids just, they bite their tongue. Maybe there's some drinking and driving going on, and they get in the car and they don't say anything.
Right. When those kids, you know, when they feel unsure about something or uncomfortable and they know they shouldn't get in the car, sometimes they won't say anything and go ahead and do it, and it can be the worst mistake that they make. So encourage your kids that if they have any kind of feeling about getting in that car, to not do it, to speak up and say, hey, I need to find another ride, or I don't feel comfortable getting in there, or you think somebody else can drive, or anything like that.
This next one, we have some friends that instituted a rule where they set a number of people that can be in the car, including the driver, no more at any time, because that's a big issue, all the kids piling in at lunch into one car.
It is, and it really surprised me, the statistic, that when you have an additional passenger with a teen driver that's under the age of 21, the chance of a crash increases 44%.
Just one more.
Just one more. And then when you add another one, it goes up more. When you add another one, it even goes up more. And it's all the distraction and what's going on. And when you've got other people in the car, people will drive and kind of do things they wouldn't do if they were by themselves.
Speaking of doing things that you shouldn't be doing, and that's drinking and driving, zero tolerance there.
Zero tolerance, and I think parents have to, that has to be a zero tolerance because it's not only the safety of your child, it's safety of other people on the road. And make it and here's the thing, if your kids are at parties, tell them, call me. I will come get you. Use Uber, use Lyft, no questions asked, and make it to where it's not something so they're not afraid to call you to come get them. Now, it may be a teaching moment the next day, but it's not something that's going to be, you know, consequenced or anything like that.
I want you to be alive for that teaching lesson tomorrow.
That's right.
We're going to fly through a few of these so that when we get to the end, we're, of course, driving after dark. Don't do that. Speeding, more than a third of teens killed in crashes. And driving while stoned, not good. And the last one, being young.
Just the inexperience of a young driver. They don't have the experience of oncoming traffic. They don't have the experience of different barriers that can occur in the road. And at nighttime, especially, that experience. And so that is just part of it. Having that inexperience and being young can be part of the reason that crashes occur.
Real quick, before we go, our challenge.
The challenge is to make sure that your kids know the rules, the expectations, and what the non-negotiables are. And if they break those non-negotiables, such as drinking and driving, take action. Don't let it slide.
Good advice, Belinda. Thank you. Coming up next,